the Secretary General of the Palestinian National Initiative, Mustapha Barghouti. Mustapha, thanks for coming back on Uncensored. We've talked a lot in the last 2 years throughout this war. Just first of all, how do you feel about this peace deal, which at the very least has got the hostages released and appears to have stopped the bombing? Are you happy about this? How do you feel?
Well, first of all, let me say that I wish that Eli will heal from his trauma, which is very harsh trauma. As much as I hope that the 70,000 Palestinian families will also heal from losing their beloved in this terrible attack that happened in Gaza. I think what we are talking about here is a deal, but not a peace deal. I mean, I don't think it provides conditions for peace. It is a plan that ended the war on Gaza, which is very good. From our perspective as Palestinians, it ended the genocidal war that was happening there, killing and injuring almost 11% of the population of Gaza. That is about 250,000 almost people. And 11% is a huge number. I mean, if you compare it to the United States of America, you would be talking about almost 33 million people killed or injured. It's horrible. 92% of all homes of Gaza are also destroyed. So why I cannot call it a peace plan? It led to two important things. Yes, stopping the war, but also one of the main results of what happened is that the whole idea of ethnic cleansing of Palestinians from Gaza has vanished. That is a very important result. That the dreams of Netanyahu to ethnically cleanse Palestinians did not happen and will never happen again. That's it. That is very important strategically about the future solution. Why it's not peace yet? Because, first of all, this agreement says nothing about ending the Israeli occupation of West Bank and Gaza. It says nothing about guaranteeing the Palestinian right of self-determination. It says nothing about allowing Palestinians to be free from occupation and have their own sovereignty and their right of unconditional self-determination. And fourth, it doesn't say a word about the possibility of creating an independent Palestinian state. That's why I say it's about ending the war, which is good, but it doesn't provide a solution. Some of your Israeli guests are deceiving themselves if they still think that they can use normalization with Arab countries to avoid the Palestinian issue, or to neglect the Palestinian issue, or to destroy the Palestinian future. I repeat, there are 7.3 million Palestinians now on the land of historic Palestine versus 7.2, 7.1 Jewish Israelis. What's the solution? Israel did not want two-state solution, claiming it's because of security reasons, while we see that most of the people killed or injured here are Palestinians. Second, they don't accept one democratic state, which I personally would prefer, with equal rights for everybody, and coexistence in a situation of democracy and economic development. Then if they refuse the one state and the two states, what's their solution? For many extremists in Israel, especially Netanyahu and Smotrich and Ben-Gvir, the solution was ethnic cleansing. That is over. It's over. So all Israelis must face the reality and the truth here. Nobody is defeated, and nobody has won a war. What we have here is a continuation of a struggle, a continuation of a conflict between two people living on the same land, and the Palestinian people deserve their freedom. There is no way that this can be taken away from Palestinians.
It's a fascinating way you've described all of that, and I don't disagree with much of what you've said. What does the future look like to you if you were able to create a sort of utopia out of this hell? What would utopia look like for the Palestinian people? You know, we've already seen President Trump make it clear to Israel, you cannot annex the West Bank. They've made it clear that Palestinians should be free to return to their homes. These are two good things, I would argue, which have clearly come about because of American pressure. But what does a utopian future look like, as far as you're concerned, for the Palestinians?
My first preference is that we have one democratic state with equal rights for everybody, equal rights, equal duties, and that Palestinians are accepted as equal human beings. That is the best solution. And then there will be no need for any kind of violence, and there will be no need for anybody to attack anybody. But if that is not acceptable to the Israel, I mean, that's what we've been calling for 77 years. And that means equal rights. Equal rights means a Palestinian has the right to live there. And if he was displaced from one place, he has the right to come back. And if they don't want that, and that the practical solution is what they call two-state solution, and Palestinians are allowed to have a state of their own, they're also most welcome. But you cannot say that Palestinians can have some sort of a future under Israeli supervision and under Israeli enslavement. Especially that what you see now in the West Bank is activation of settlement building in a horrible way, destroying any potential for a Palestinian state. During the last 2 years, the Israeli extreme fascists, in my opinion, like Motrjem and Ben-Gvir, have built 22 more new settlements, illegal settlements, and 111 settlement outposts. And they've confiscated already 16% of the West Bank. And they've besieged before that 16 other percent of the West Bank. That is not a solution. And even if Israel makes peace with other Arab countries, this will not remove the Palestinians from the picture. We're there. We are the ones who are living there, and we're not going to give up our right to struggle for freedom, and our right to struggle for our sovereignty, and our right to demand that we are accepted as equal human beings with all the rights that everybody deserves. And by the way, I wish you would also interview a Palestinian prisoner. One of them is a cousin of mine who's البرغوثى. I mean, these Israeli captives have spent 2 years in captivity. البرغوثى spent 45 years in jail. He's in Cairo. You can interview him. The saddest thing to me now is that he was deported after he was released, but his wife is unable to go and reach him or see him for the last 6 months because the Israeli army is preventing her from crossing the bridge to Jordan to go and see him in Egypt. The same happened this week to all the families of prisoners who were Palestinian captives who were released, deported, and their families are now prevented from going and seeing them. This is terrible torture to the families.
Mustapha, it's good to talk to you. And in relation to what you said about Palestinians deserving the exact same human rights as Israelis or as me, I completely agree with you. And to me, there is only one way this ever gets resolved, and that is with a genuine two-state solution where, the Palestinians get to live their own lives with the human rights everybody else gets. And until that gets resolved, I think you're right. Until the core problem gets resolved, then it's hard to see how you get a lasting, sustainable peace. That has to be addressed. And I'm hoping that out of this hell of the last 2 years, that actually there may come an opportunity to finally make this happen. But I think you're right. If people think that everything can go on in the region without tackling the core issue of Palestine, I think they're living in cloud cuckoo land. But I appreciate you coming on, Mustapha, as always. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good luck.